What if the voice in your head is the very thing holding you back? Not your boss, not your circumstances, not your past, you. Most people wake up, reach for their phone, and immediately hand their mind over to the world, to the news, to notifications, to other people's opinions. And before they've even had a cup of coffee, their day is already decided for them. But here's what nobody tells you. The first few minutes of your morning are the most powerful mental real estate you have, and almost everyone wastes them. Jim Rohn, one of the greatest personal philosophers who ever lived, believes something most people never fully grasp. He said, "Your life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by change. And change doesn't start with your schedule, your bank account, or your habits. It starts with what you believe about yourself." In the next few minutes, I'm going to share 7 lines, just 7, that, if spoken to yourself every single morning, will begin to reshape how you think, how you act, and ultimately who you become. These aren't affirmations in the fluffy feel-good sense. These are identity statements. There's a difference, and that difference is everything. Before we go further, if you've ever felt like you're capable of more than your current life is showing, like something inside you knows there's a version of you that hasn't fully shown up yet, subscribe and hit the like button, because this channel exists for people who are ready to be honest with themselves. And this might be the video that starts something. Here's the uncomfortable truth most of us share. We know what we should be doing. We've read the books. We've watched the videos. We've made the plans on Sunday night with full intention of following through on Monday morning. And then Monday comes, and somehow the day runs us instead of us running the day. Sound familiar? This isn't a willpower problem. It's not a motivation problem either, because motivation, as you've probably noticed, comes and goes like the weather. The real problem is deeper. It's about identity. It's about what you believe you are at your core, because you will never consistently act in ways that contradict your self-image. Never. Your behavior will always orbit back to who you believe yourself to be. And this is where most people get it wrong. They try to change their actions without ever changing their inner story. Jim Rohn put it plainly, "Success is something you attract by the person you become." Read that again. Not something you chase, not something you grind for with brute force, something you attract. That word, attract, implies that who you are pulls your results toward you. That means the most important work isn't on your to-do list, it's on your identity. And your identity is built, brick by brick, by what you repeatedly tell yourself. This is the part that changes everything. There was a man, let's call him Brian, who spent 15 years telling himself he was just not good with money. Said it at dinner tables, said it to his wife, said it in his own head every time he looked at his bank account. And you know what? He lived that truth perfectly. Every raise he got, spent, every windfall, gone within months. Not because he was lazy, not because he lacked intelligence, but because his identity wouldn't allow him to hold on to wealth. His inner story had already decided who he was. Then one year, through a series of painful events, David hit a wall, and in the silence of that wall, he started to ask a different question. Not, "Why can't I get ahead?" but, "What am I telling myself that makes this feel normal?" He started speaking differently to himself, quietly, consistently, every morning. Within 2 years, he had his first savings account that he didn't raid. Within 4, his first investment. Nothing about his income changed dramatically at first, but he changed. And eventually, the results followed. That's not magic. That's identity at work. So, here they are. Speak these to yourself, out loud if you can, every morning before the world gets its hands on your mind. Line 1, I take full responsibility for my life and my results. Ownership is power. The moment you stop looking for who to blame, the economy, your upbringing, the people who didn't believe in you, you reclaim the ability to change. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's the key that unlocks the door. Line 2, I am disciplined, consistent, and committed to my goals. Jim Rohn called discipline the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Not talent, not luck, discipline. When you speak this line, you're not claiming perfection. You're declaring direction. You're reminding yourself who shows up, even when it's hard, even when no one's watching. Line 3, I improve myself daily through small, consistent actions. Almost nobody talks about this, But the secret to transformation isn't the big dramatic leaps. It's the quiet daily choices that compound over time. Reading 10 pages, walking 20 minutes, saying no to one distraction, small, consistent, unstoppable. Line 4, I control my thoughts and I direct them toward success. Your mind, left unguarded, will drift toward fear, toward worst-case scenarios, toward comparison and doubt. That's just what untrained minds do. This line is your daily reminder that you are the gatekeeper. Focus replaces fear when you choose it deliberately. Line 5. I am becoming the person capable of achieving my dreams. Notice the word becoming, not I have arrived, not I am already there, becoming. This line holds humility and ambition in the same breath. It acknowledges growth as a process and commits you to that process every single day. Line 6. I do the difficult things now to create an easier life later. Here's one of Jim Rohn's most piercing insights. Discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. Every time you avoid the difficult thing, you're borrowing against your future self. This line makes that trade conscious. It asks you to choose short-term discomfort over long-term pain. Line 7. I am building a life of purpose, growth, and lasting success. Not drifting, not reacting, building. This is the line that puts intention behind your days. It's the reminder that your life is a construction project, and you are the architect, brick by brick, choice by choice. Let me ask you something, and I genuinely want to know. Which of these 7 lines hit closest to home for you? Which one did you feel like you needed to hear? Drop it in the comments. You might be surprised how many others feel exactly the same way. Here's the most uncomfortable truth of all. Time doesn't wait for you to feel ready. The version of you that finally takes responsibility, finally builds discipline, finally speaks to yourself with belief and intention, that version exists. It's not out of reach. But every morning, you wake up and hand your mind over to chaos, to comparison, to fear. You push that version a little further away. You don't get those mornings back. But here's what's also true, and I want you to hold on to this. You still have this morning, and tomorrow's, and everyone after that. The door isn't closed. It's just waiting for you to walk through it on purpose. Here's how to actually use these 7 lines. Write them on a card. Put it somewhere you'll see first thing. Your bathroom mirror, your nightstand, your phone lock screen. Speak them out loud every morning before you check anything, before the noise begins. Don't worry if they don't feel true yet. That's not the point right now. Repetition creates belief. Belief creates identity. Identity creates results. Give it 30 days, be honest with yourself, watch what shifts. We started with a question. What if the voice in your head is the very thing holding you back? Now you have the answer. And more importantly, you have the tools to change it. The world will always be loud. It will always compete for your attention, your energy, your belief in yourself. But every morning, before all of that begins, you have a window, a few quiet minutes that belong entirely to you. Use them like they matter, because they do. If something in this video landed, if it made you stop and think, even for a moment, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Like the video if it brought you value. Subscribe if you want more honest, no-fluff content about building a life that actually means something. And when you're ready, the next video is right there on your screen.